Hey everyone, welcome back to Read the Room podcast. As always, this is Merv.
Hi, this is Embria.
As I always say, thank y'all so much for joining us again.
We're still happy that you are still listening.
Still surprised that you guys keep tuning in. No. Surprised in a good way.
In a good way. Like happy that y'all like to listen to us.
Yeah, and all the love on social media. You guys felt that last post on social media, all Black Lives Matter. Y'all felt that.
That was, we talked about it in our last episode, Black inclusivity.
Mm-hmm.
So, it reflected.
Yeah, absolutely, especially given the times. But today we're going to move in a different direction, I would say.
A little bit.
Today we're talking about toxic relationships.
Toxicity.
Whether you've experienced one or were in a toxic adjacent relationship.
That's the thing.
Definitely going to be a lot, I would say.
Yeah,
it's not too heavy, but it's kind of heavy.
The thing is, I feel like even if someone might be like, oh, I've never been in a toxic relationship, and they hear some of the stuff, and it's like, oh, wait, well, maybe that was a little bit toxic. Because at the end of the day, do you leave relationships that are super healthy and great?
Most likely.
So if you have exes, there's a chance that you were in a situation that wasn't the most healthy. Yeah.
But if you haven't been in one, you're blessed.
Right.
To say the least. But I guess we just dive into it, going into what a toxic relationship.
Tell us what.
Okay, so we're gonna, you know me, I'm the researcher of the duo, so write a couple articles, and I did find one that gave I would say a pretty thorough definition of what a toxic relationship is. This comes from Dr. Lillian Glass.
Hi, Dr. Glass.
She wrote a book in 1995 called Toxic People. So right on tune with what we're talking about today. But she defines toxic relationships as any relationship between people who don't support each other, where there's conflict and one seeks to undermine the other, where there's competition, where there's disrespect, and a lack of cohesiveness.
That's a very good, crisp way to say it. And honestly, hearing you say the definition, though I've heard you say it before, this time around, it made me think about Friends.
Yes. And she mentions that, too, down the line. Like, this is not just strictly towards romantic relationships. This applies to business relationships, friends, and familial, too. No, let's not leave that. So...
Okay.
So basically, our whole lives are just like toxic.
So everybody is just toxic. Get rid of them. And it's interesting because we all joke about like, oh, toxic people like Nevadius, Future. It's like such a running joke, but people really.
But no, I feel like though he really is though, especially how he was gaslighting his last baby mom, the one Eliza.
Okay.
He was really, like, gaslighting her, like, a lot.
What was he saying? Like, oh, that might not be my baby type thing?
Yeah, and he was always saying, what was the term? Because a lot of niggas apparently felt this, where he was like, don't ever make a ugly girl feel like she's pretty or something like that. Okay. Something along those lines.
So, my mom had told me, she was like, what's going on with Future's BM? Because she BM too.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's going on? She was like, the Shade Room said she's ugly. She's gorgeous.
I think she's pretty.
Really pretty. So I'm like, I think she's pretty. I'm confused. What? Can we talk about colorism? Because it's like what do you see?
Because he don't say none of that about Joy.
No one.
Sierra.
I'm just like, I didn't see it. Okay.
But yeah, he's a prime example. He is a leader to a lot of these guys, and I really do not understand why, besides the fact that they all just hate women as a collective.
Well, okay, so you mentioned that did you say he was gaslighting her? Okay, can we talk about gaslighting itself? Because I feel like that's one of the subsections of toxic humans. Could you describe, I had just learned what it was recently. Yeah. So it's basically manipulation, right?
Yes. It's basically when you're stating a valid concern and the other person finds a way to undermine you.
Okay.
Making you feel like you're crazy for even bringing that up. That's what gaslighting. You're 100% in the right to feel how you feel and to bring it up, but they're making you feel crazy for even doing that.
So I seen a Twitter post that said that it originated from like a movie way back in the day, and it was someone who was messing with the lights in someone's house.
Yeah, making them go crazy.
Yeah, making them go crazy, and then they're like, "Wait, what do you mean? What's going on? There's nothing wrong with the lights." And they're like, "Wait, but I seen the lights tweaking." Okay, that's
gaslighting 101, and that's exactly what he did to her. And I feel like a lot of us could relate to that.
Look, when you tell someone something and they're like, "No, you acting crazy." That whole "you acting crazy."
Yeah.
Look,
even though what do you mean? I know a lot of us have experienced. Was it WYM when you send like a paragraph or 3 or 4, and it's like, I just explained to you what I mean. So what do you mean what I mean?
It's like trying to wear you down. Yeah. Like, okay, let me get her so tired of explaining this that she just like, okay,
it's like some type of like psychological warfare.
It is very psychological.
People's partners do to them just to no other reason than to break you down. I honestly, it does work though. I will say. After a while, you just be like, bro, I give up.
But then it's also like you trust your partner or friend or whomever. When you say like, am I tweaking about this? And if they're like, yeah, you tweaking. It's like, oh, okay, then I guess I'm overreacting. You trust them, but they stand to gain from you believing that you're losing your mind.
Exactly.
So then all of a sudden, he got another chick at your house next to you. You're like, am I overreacting? Like, oh, the 3 of us are going to the movies.
Exactly.
I'm overreacting.
Exactly. That's what it leads to, and I don't know. It's weird, and I hate that people do gaslighting stuff because it's like, if someone is validating what they're saying, instead of trying to figure out a way to discredit them, why don't you tackle it head on?
Yeah,
I feel like a lot of us could stand to all of us could gain a lot more if we would just have those direct conversations, whether that means ending their relationships or even improving them for the better. The whole gaslighting thing does nothing but put someone in a position where they're questioning themselves, they're questioning their self-worth, their self-esteem, and things like that.
That is very true. You go down a long hole of questioning and wondering and why this.
And that's not to say that relationships don't have ups and downs. They most certainly do. Any normal human relationship, you're going to have disagreements, you're going to have things like that, but it's how you and that person go about it that makes all the difference between it being just like a normal healthy relationship versus a toxic one.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So if you've been listening to us on our episode about love languages, we talked about how someone's upbringings could really shape the way they are as a partner, as a lover, and things like that. And the same goes for toxic relationships. Back to the article that I was referring to, I'll put that in the description as well if anybody wants to read it. But they were saying that there's a variety of different things that can contribute to someone being toxic in a relationship. It could be something like a previous toxic relationship, and they bring that into the new one, into things like their upbringing.
If they didn't, their parents, maybe.
If they didn't have like a loving, supporting type of upbringing, they're not gonna know how to bring that in. And even things like mental disorders, bullying, really any form of trauma can contribute to someone being toxic in relationships, which I think is all valid, but at the same time, people have got to do the work for themselves.
Yes, at some point you have to acknowledge, okay, here's what happened to me, here were my circumstances, and how am I going to turn that around? Yeah. I think that's beneficial though on the part of the person who has gone through the trauma and also their partner. Because say I've been in relationships that are like surface level for a long time. No one's ever challenged me on my things. Challenge your person. Like if you know their upbringing and you start to see those things, challenge them. Suggest therapy, but also challenge them on their stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then just find a way to have normal conversation. If something's bothering you, I think you should bring it up regardless. It could be something small, but I'd rather nip something small in the bud now than wait till it becomes something much more serious down the lines.
Yes. That's my least favorite thing. If someone starts to try and think they're arguing, it's when they're talking about the thing that happened now, but then the thing that happened last week and the thing that happened 3 weeks ago. It's like, wait, where I'm talking about this right now, you should have brought that up when it was bothering you.
Yep. And that's one of the traits too, like lack of communication. If you don't have a line of communication, there's absolutely no way you can have a healthy relationship.
Absolutely.
And it's going to turn toxic quickly because you're in a constant state of resentment because you're like harboring all these feelings, but your partner doesn't know, and that's not fair.
Can't communicate, yeah,
and that's not fair. So you're going to be in this hostile type of relationship until it gets to the point where someone's going to receive the short end of the stick and receive all of the, you know, emotional like burden or baggage that comes with being in a toxic relationship.
Yikes. Ugh. Okay, we talked to, I'm like,
it be having you thinking like, ooh.
Oh, wow. But that's so extremely accurate to a T. And I'm sure like there are relationships that are equally toxic, but I mean, it's
usually one person.
Yeah, I was going to say, in my personal experience, it's been like, oh.
Yeah. I think they mentioned that too. That was another one of the traits, like when you're controlling, you can't have a healthy relationship where two people are controlling or when one person is being controlled. There's no way you can't have there's no balance there.
Oh my, okay.
There's an imbalance.
Yes, that's interesting that you say, because from my perspective, of course, I'm like, okay, I've never been the toxic one in a relationship. But what if, from someone else's perspective, what if I was the toxic one in a relationship? I do remember, though, someone saying that I was controlling, but it was in the most gaslighting way ever. Okay. It's like, okay, you told me that I need to delete this person off social media, block this person. I can't go here. I can't do that. Why am I talking to this person? But then if I'm like, okay, well, if that's what I'm doing to make you feel comfortable, what are you, like, you're out here bouncing around town, but I'm supposed to be super duper like, so in that way, looking back, setting rules for someone is a no, regardless. But if you gave me rules and I'm like, okay, let me just obey these rules so he feels comfortable, but then you not following your own rules, right? It's like
toxic.
Well, wait a second. Yeah. What am I doing?
Yeah. In that example, that person was, like you said, 100% trying to gaslight you because you're giving up your needs to please them. That's not a healthy relationship.
Period.
That's not a healthy relationship. Yeah. They're being toxic, and I hate when people mask things in that way. That is in a way of trying to set boundaries, in a way of trying to, I don't know. Yeah, just set boundaries, set clear lines. They do it in a way where it's just like underlying. They have the intentions are not pure. There we go.
The intentions are to control you. Okay, so I've experienced it from the like, okay, here's the little rules to make me feel comfortable. I've also experienced it, this one is weird, from the perspective of like, X, Y, and Z shouldn't have access to you. You should think of yourself as higher than that. Like, you think of yourself like the Beyonce. Like, do you think Beyonce's exes could text her and blah, blah, blah? All of this to say, I don't feel comfortable with you texting your old dude. And I mean, reasonably not. But at the end of the day, it's like, this is not about you thinking that I'm such a great person that people shouldn't have access to me. This is about you not wanting me to text my old dude.
Exactly. Yeah, no, that dude, whoever the dude is, was 100% a gaslighter.
1,000.
And he should come in here and talk about why he's such a gaslighter. But
I think he should be talking to his friends and family at Sunday dinner about it. But
because that is not. You can just be direct, like, hey, I don't feel comfortable with you texting your exes. Given your history, I know there's like, you know, whatever the love there. That's more like stand up than. You're Beyonce and you think, girl, get out of here. And that's a lie. Beyonce is Beyonce. So not only are you gaslighting, you lying on top of that. Not to say that you're not a Beyonce, but you.
But that's also a piece of the gaslighting puzzle. I love Beyonce. I'm like, wait, me? Right. Like, you know what? You're right. You're right. Like, I'm better than. Like, you know what? That's true. I am. Looking back, I'm like, oh, he's
a master manipulator. He could
undoubtedly
lead a course.
Okay.
Being a master manipulator.
Okay, so in addition to gaslighter slash manipulators, what are some of the other traits?
Something that's more obvious, obviously verbally and emotionally abusive.
Okay.
Someone's constantly talking down on you.
Okay.
They're making you feel a way about your emotions. They're making you feel emotion that you shouldn't be feeling.
Mm-hmm.
you're in a toxic relationship.
Someone who's not gentle with you, really.
Yeah. Other things could also be someone who affects your actual mental health. Like someone who, when you're with them, you're in a constant state of anger, sadness, and things like that.
Okay, that's
or someone that triggers your anxiety, someone that triggers, your depression.
Yeah.
That is a clear sign of being in an unhealthy, toxic relationship.
Yes. And that, look, y'all could be posting your pictures on social media, looking all cute, but after you click the picture, if y'all are arguing, and if you feel sad, and if you're questioning your place, and all these things, that's not healthy.
Another thing that they said was a major warning sign, you kind of touched on this a little bit, is making sure that with you being with your partner, that there's not changes in your other relationships. Like you're not seeing your friends often, you're not really seeing your families, or you don't really want to spend time doing other things because you don't know how your partner's going to feel with you not being there with them.
That is a great
point. So it's like...
you should not be in any situation that requires 100% of your time, effort, and energy. If someone feels uncomfortable about you hanging out with your friends or anything like that, that is completely unhealthy. And over the years, perhaps when I was younger, maybe it was a little bit different, but over the years, I feel like there is such peace in having separation between your friends and your person. Like, don't get me wrong, sometimes, like, you could be in a group or whatever, but don't be up under me all the time when I'm trying to be with my friends, We can't talk about the same stuff.
Oh my God.
I can't be as comfortable, like... That's not, you don't need to come chaperone.
That triggers something in me. Any partner that's like always wanting to be around you and your friends, that's not healthy. You guys have to be away from each other.
Literally, you trying to study and they're like, okay, well, let me come and study with you and your friends. Like,
let's go hang out. It's like, no, these are my friends. I want to hang out with, and plus, I don't even know if I want my friends to know you. Like,
it's not there yet.
And I feel like, at least for myself, I can say that I put a lot of emphasis on my friendships, like my platonic, like my girlfriends, that if I'm seeing someone, I don't want to introduce them prematurely. Because what if you're not here? And I really love and care for those group of women. So it's like bringing you someone who I don't really know like that. We just click on this romantic level, and to bring you into that.
That's not fair.
No.
And then they want to stay friends with them.
Yeah,
and that's
weird.
That's just very weird energy.
I'm just saying, if me and my boyfriend break up, you breaking up my friends too.
Okay, that's a whole nother...
We all gotta break up.
That's a whole nother...
Ain't nobody staying in a relationship, period. Unless y'all was friends before, then it's whatever.
But for the most part, even if I think about... friendship in the context of me and Danielle, everyone knows that's my best friend. She would never.
And she shouldn't.
Never. She wouldn't even think, even if she knew the dude before, it's like, okay, I'll see you when I see you. We're not about to, because there's a certain level of respect if you have for your friends, then
just like when you were with a certain someone and I didn't know I could follow him on social media until you let me know it was okay. I think
you're saying could
follow first and then unfollow.
Because honey, look, don't be following until I know for sure that this is a thing. Because
exactly. And also just like, well, that's not your friend. Like,
right? What do y'all have in common other than me?
Exactly.
You could tell me and I'll tell.
Exactly. Make sure you have that nice separation between your friends and your partner, and then also like be open to like taking in constructive criticism from your friends and family, because if you're in a toxic relationship, you probably don't see it that way,
right? So
they're going to be the ones to notice like if there's any changes in your behavior and things of that nature. So you got to be open to receiving that.
Don't be like, they hating on me because they mad I got a man. Trust me, if I ever say something to you, it's not because I'm mad you have a man.
Period. It's 2020.
Men
are not the baby.
That's not the prize.
That is not the prize, honey. We don't care. Yeah. We just want you to be safe.
That's it.
Yeah. So to circle back around to some other traits, jealousy.
Okay, jealousy. Wow, that is a. But you know,
that's crazy. Your man is jealous of you. That's so crazy. I always think stuff like that is so crazy, even on a friendship level.
I was just gonna say, I feel like it's two versions of jealousy. It's jealous of your like relationships with other humans.
Yeah.
But then there's also jealous of literally you as a person, and that is some weird, scary stuff.
Yeah.
But it's legitimately a thing. Like, oh wow, she out here doing X, Y, and Z, and I'm not, and being jealous. That's crazy.
When instead of being jealous, put that energy in towards being wherever that person is at too, if that's where you want to be.
Right.
It's so weird.
That's toxic in romantic relationships in addition to friendships.
You mentioned this when we were on the phone yesterday, the Flo Milli situation.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Which was like just happened like
literally
yesterday.
Last night. Okay, so I'm not sure if anyone is familiar with Flo Milli. I really like that one song. When I step in the party. Yeah,
I like cash my hair to my ass. That's a power line.
A very powerful song that one is. Okay, so there's a up and coming rapper. Her name is Flo Milli, and so last night on social media, her fans and everyone got in tune with a tweet that she made, which said, if something happens to me, my ex did it.
Right.
So some other tweets and like information surfaced. And basically, when she had a song that was like on the rise, her ex had gone and deleted it off of SoundCloud.
Right.
Like while she's getting clout and she's starting to get recognition off of this song, he goes and deletes it off SoundCloud. What?
That is jealousy 101.
101. And you want to know something? It's also like you being possessive.
Yes.
Like, okay, I like you here right now in this space. You have no room to grow because maybe you're going to outgrow me or you're going to not want to be bothered or whatever the case may be. So in order to keep you where I want you to be, let me stop your success. Let me stop what you have going on. Like, what?
People... I know we talk a lot about like people like seeing potential in people, but it can also be like on the contrary, where people see your potential as like a threat to them.
Yes.
And it's crazy to think that someone that you, what I would imagine like felt strongly about them would do that to you as you're rising, as you're succeeding.
That's sickening.
That is sickening. I
feel like a symptom of a healthy relationship is the desire for the other person to reach their fullest potential and for you to as well. So if you're in some kind of situation where they're like, yeah, you reaching a little bit too high, or
and I don't like that.
You making a little bit too much money, or you being a little bit too successful. That's another. Another one.
It gets very, and I feel like those situations are the ones that typically turn violent very quickly. If I can't have you, no one else can, and that can lead to various troubling ends.
That's frightening. But yeah, if you listening and you have a person in your world and they low-key be hating on you and not wanting you to reach your highest potential, they're toxic.
Yeah.
And that could be friends.
Yeah.
Family, romantic, like...
Yeah, if you have, like you said, family, friends, whatever, who do not support what you do, I think it's time to kind of reevaluate the situation. At the very least, reevaluate. I mean, you don't have to jump to conclusion, but just like reevaluate, like, where this person stands in my life. Because I think it's very dangerous to have those type of people so close to you who don't support what you're doing, or who are constantly criticizing what you're doing, but not in a constructive way where you can get better. Just like, why are you doing that? Who do you think you are? Type of stuff. So really evaluate those relationships.
That statement that you said, who do you think you are? Or like, oh, you think you X, Y, and Z. There is so much low-key anger in that statement. It's like, wow, you are elevating.
Yep.
You shouldn't be. Why are you? Right. It's like, that's not healthy. Like, for you to think like that.
Like, why would you ask somebody, who do you think you're? Bitch, who do you think I am? Why are you threatened?
Right. It could be the biggest thing, like career-wise or life-wise or money-wise, but it could also be minuscule, like small shirt stuff you have on. Like, oh, who you think you are with that shirt on? It's like, so you think it's ugly? Or
what are you trying to say, man? We're going to use our big girl words.
Yeah, like, you want to borrow it?
That's all you have to say. That's all you have to say.
Yes or no, because if there's a no, like what you're talking about. But yeah.
Yeah, people really do have and that's another gaslighting tip, because then people can start to like really think like, who am I? Am I supposed to be?
And then you feel like you need to temper yourself. Yes. Like, okay, well, maybe I'm giving off too much energy, or I need to calm down or be less enthusiastic about what I'm doing. And it's like, it's not you, it's them.
Period.
Keep doing what you're doing. They just aren't where they want to be in their situation. You have to think about that often. Yeah. Like, what position is this person in who's commenting on me? Like, right. Oh, you started a podcast, you doing too much. What are you doing? And then if my answer is not much of anything, it's like, perhaps you wish that you too were like being creative in other outlets. You could say that. Let's talk about it. What you want to do. Yeah. But like, don't project it onto me in a negative way.
Exactly. And I think it's such a powerful thing to have people around you who are on the up and up, who are doing so many different things. Even if it doesn't work out, just to even say that you did X, Y, and Z, that should motivate you. Yeah. Whatever your goals are, if you need some help, you got the people in your corner who know how to do things that could potentially help you. But instead, people use that as a catalyst to hate on people, and I think that's weird. Yeah, that energy can be put towards you being in a position where someone can ask you, who do you think you are, as well.
Ooh.